How did you use media technologies in the construction and research and planning stages? Firstly, I used WordPress.com to create my blog. In order to do this, I needed to learn how to post under my name category with the desired text, image, or video that I wanted. This was a skill I carried on from AS Media Studies from previously creating a music magazine progress blog. Similarly, I picked up how to use websites like Prezi to create presentations of my initial ideas at the beginning of the planning and research stage of my blog. YouTube was a useful website in all three stages of constructing my product, as I used it to watch and analyse trailers for research, to create video polls for audience feedback, and research tutorials in the planning stage. I also used it in the production of my product to upload drafts regularly and also upload my final product. From using Macs to create my product, I had to learn simple tricks like screenshotting using Command and 4 and screen recording using QuickTime and the new screen recording button in order to create progress posts on my blog. The screen record skill was very useful in the production stage as well, as I would use it to screen record moving text or flashing images to incorporate into my trailer. In the research stage of my coursework, I learned how to create charts and diagrams in Excel to display the results of my audience questionnaire. I also learned how to use various technological equipment like the scanner in order to scan in drawings for my storyboard. Other technologies I used were GarageBand to voice record some of my audio and polldaddy.com to create polls that I could post on the blog. For the production stages of my coursework when constructing my poster and magazine, the major technological software that I used was Photoshop. I have previously used Photoshop in depth when producing my AS Media coursework and therefore had picked it up a large quantity of skills already. To start creating my poster, I began with some images taken using my Canon 5000D DSLR, giving a high quality image of the protagonist looking in both right and left directions. Using one of the tutorials from YouTube in the secondary research, I used a vector mask and used the black and white colours to edit out the pupils in her eyes to make them blank. This worked well and came out looking quite realistic. However, the background was white and I wanted to make it dark to match the conventional horror genre. Therefore, I used the same vector mask technique to edit her eyes into a different image. My image now looked more sinister, so I then took colouring from her face using image, adjustments and saturation in the top menu of Photoshop. I thought that still the image wasn't sinister enough, and so I used another image of some oily and wrinkly skinned woman to vector mask some of her skin onto my protagonist, giving her a sort of alienated, possessed look. I then wanted to make the image darker, so I added some shadows using the adjustments option in the image menu when I used various filters, contrast, exposure, colour balance, brightness to achieve the desired look. After this, I wanted to connote a horror genre a bit more, and so I used vector masks to edit a nosebleed onto the image. Once my image was complete, I dragged it onto an A4 page and typed in a title using a font I downloaded from the internet, darfont.com. I then downloaded another font called Steel Tongs, which I could use to type my billing block, and added that onto the poster. I then experimented with some layer styles such as outer glows and drop shadows to subtly make my title stand out a bit more. After adding some institutional logos, some social media links, and then an age rating, my poster was half finished. In order to complete the top half of my poster in Photoshop, I took an image in which I took in a London Underground tube station of a dirty wall. I vector masked the image realistically onto the poster. I then downloaded a written in blood looking font from darfont.com and simply typed in my caption. In order to make it look more blended with the image, I went to the blending options menu and selected colour burn, and also played around with the fill and opacity. This was then my finished poster. In order to construct my magazine, I wanted a good variety of images which were simple and clean cut. Therefore, I took some images using Canon 5000 DSLR camera, which meant I had a range of high quality images to choose from. After choosing an image, I moved this onto the Sight and Sound magazine cover template using Command+T. I then adjusted the saturation in the image under Image and Adjustments. My image was then complete. After downloading my desired font for the cover lines, which I thought best matched the house style of my magazine, I typed out my cover lines and adjusted sizes and styles in the paragraphing menu to create my desired look. I experimented with a mixture of serif and sans serif fonts. I also used the paintbrush tool to create a house style line underneath my main cover line and adjusted opacity to help it blend. The software I used to construct my trailer was Final Cut 7, which was easy and simple to use. I also used this software to put together my video. I started off in Final Cut 7 by importing all my footage, clips, audio recordings that I needed to use. Using I and O buttons on the keyboard enabled me to select input and output points of clips and audio in order to easily crop them. These I could then drag onto the timeline and adjust to desirable points to create my trailer. I used video transitions under the Effects Video Transitions menu to create fade in and fade out and cross-dissolve transitions between shots. I also learned how to MP4 convert YouTube videos of institutional sequences to place in my trailer. I also used color grading though through effects and video filters and color correction three-way to create desaturated and dark shots and create a horror genre mood. I also learned how to type my text shots into Photoshop and then import them into Final Cut Pro to use in my trailer. I layered a lot of sound effects into my trailer. In order to get the sound effects, I downloaded them from freesound.org, which gave me a variety of conventional horror sound effects. For one of my shots at the end of my trailer, I used a YouTube video from my secondary research to create a cloning video effect. In order to do this, I filmed in the same location using a tripod to capture my protagonist, running away from one end of the camera shot and running towards the other end of the camera shot. I then layered both clips on top of each other in Final Cut and selected Motion tab and adjusted the cropping options. To create black borders around each clip, I selected Image and Wide Frame in the drop-down menu above Preview. In order to completely export my trailer, I selected File, then Import, then QuickTime Movie, which I could then upload to YouTube as either a draft or a finished product.